I looked at your profile, I did a little bit of research, and I thought, okay, this is a possibility. But it was that very first meeting of when I actually had a chat with you that we knew, because you were so easy to talk to. We were on a similar wavelength. You understood my issues. You were calm, collected together. And from the first moment, it kind of felt easy, and I felt at ease. To begin with, I was quite nervous, but it was nervous about not knowing what I was walking into. Initially, before meeting you, not knowing who you were, not knowing the system of how it works and where I could lead to in the outcome. So it's that lack of knowledge around the whole thing. I'd never been coached before. I'd never even spoken to anyone about coaching before. Other than that, I suppose opening up to someone, knowing whether it was going to be worth it or not as well. As it turned out, it certainly wasn't something I needed to worry about on either account, especially with Alex anyway. Time for you, that you're not doing other work, but you're working on yourself at the same time. So it's a difficult thing to do when you're really busy, when you're feeling stressed, feeling hectic, not feeling at your best necessarily, which was how I came to you. But also it's really needed because you're working on yourself to make things better. Being a small business owner can be really lonely. You're on your own, you're working with clients some of the time, but there's not as much contact as you would have in a normal office, or even if you're working from home but working for a company. So you don't have anyone to run those ideas and your feelings and how things are going and all of that kind of back chat. You don't have anyone to run through it with. So actually speaking to you meant that I've got someone to fact check everything that I'm thinking and doing, saying, yes, you're right. No, what on earth are you doing? What are you thinking there? And actually, have you thought about doing it in this way? Or have you thought about rephrasing your thinking in this way instead? And that is invaluable. So I initially came to you because of imposter syndrome. But if I'm honest with myself, there were also elements of burnout and lack of work-life balance as well. As a people pleaser, it's one of the kind of issues that you have. Working with you, I was starting to realize that there was something better out there and that I could achieve something different. And then I'd been thinking for absolute years about going freelance, and it was that kind of turn suddenly. There was one conversation that I remember that we had, and it made me think, okay, if not when, if not now, then when? And I just kind of did it. And then I remember turning up to one of our meetings saying, okay, this is happening. This is kind of happening now. Where do we go from here? As a result of the coaching sessions I had with you, it's meant that not only have I set up my own business now, but I'm reframing the way that I think of things. So before, for example, with imposter syndrome, I was thinking, it's making me do this and I'm not as good because. Whereas now, actually, what I'm thinking of is instead something that really clicked with me on one of our meetings is that you said, think of the positives that imposter syndrome actually means. It means I work really hard for the clients to make sure that what they get is right. It means that I want to make sure that they're happy with everything that goes out. It's actually can turn some positives around there instead. And that was one of the key points that made me be able to think about going it alone. What I'd say is that really now I've got the coping mechanisms to deal with the issues that I was having before. So I'm able to look at a situation and reframe it in more positive light, which then means that I'm more capable of being able to deal with whatever comes forward. Without your help, I would never have gone freelance on my own. It just wouldn't have happened. I'd have probably left my previous place of work and gone on to another job somewhere else, but I've never have set up actually on my own. And actually, it's been a year now, and it's been completely transformational of my lifestyle, my health, my well-being, my work. Everything is just a happier place. For someone that's considering having coaching with you, I'd say they've got absolutely nothing to lose. Take up that free hour of just having an introductory session of a first hour of coaching. You're losing nothing. If you don't enjoy it, then you can move on. but I don't think that's the way that it's going to turn out. And then what you're going to see is that you've got someone who you can confide in, who you can trust, who understands how you're feeling and understands the way that you need to progress from there onwards. And then it's just up from there, basically.